Welcome back, my math board people. Anderson here, your math coach. So let's go ahead and check this out here. We're checking out a word problem where we have to go ahead and set up a system of equations and then subsequently we have to solve it. So if you've seen those previous videos of me setting up systems and solving systems and setting up equations, then you're good to go. Again, if you find this confusing, even after I've done it all, remember to find my videos on setting up equations, solving equations, and solving systems of equations. Knowing those will help you out greatly here. So again, I'm going to go over two problems just like this one, and I'm going to show you how to set them up, and I'm going to show you how to go through the information and nice and easily set things up. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get things started and let's have a good time. So we have all of this going on, and the one thing I always say with word problems is what? Don't start reading the question first. No, that's the wrong thing to do. Don't just read every single line back to back to back. You're not here to confuse yourself. You're here to understand what you're looking for, and then you want to see the information that's related to that. So first things first, what are my directions? What's the question? Right over here. The last sentence says, find the number of students in each van and in each bus. Find the students in each van and bus. Sounds good. So let me go ahead and highlight that right there. Find the number of students in each van and each bus. So I'm going to go ahead and say right over here, I'll say that V is van, and I'm going to say blank students in each van. And I'll just say B for buses, and I'll say blank students in each bus. In each bus and in each van. Again, that's all I'm looking for, right? That's all I'm looking for. Now, do I know what the situation is yet? Do I know what we're talking about? Of course not. But I don't care, because at least I know that whatever I'm doing with this problem is I'm looking for the number of students in each van and in each bus. Now let's go ahead and collect the information and let's see if we can tell that this is indeed a system of equations word problem. Let's find out. Let me show you how. So here, the county fair is a popular field trip destination. No information there, that doesn't matter. So here, this year, the senior class at high school A and the senior class at high school B both planned trips there. The senior class at high school A rented and filled 4 vans and 14 buses with 602 students. High school B rented and filled 11 vans and 7 buses with 364 students. Each van and each bus carried the same number of students. Find the number of students in each van and in each bus. Okay, here's how I know that this is a system automatically, my party people. Here's how I know automatically. I know automatically because, look, first of all, the problem is asking me to find out the number of students in each van and in each bus. So we have 2 variables here, 2 things that I don't know already. Boom. Number 2, the icing on the cake to let you know that this is a system is that you have 2 scenarios. Here's one. The first one is the senior class at high school A rented and filled 4 vans and 14 buses with 602 students. That is one relationship there. The second relationship is high school B rented 11 vans and 7 buses with 364 students. That's another relationship. So you have 2 variables, number of kids in vans, number of kids in buses, and then you also have 2 relationships, one for high school A, one for high school B. So you should be looking at that, my party people, and understanding that if you have 2 things that you don't know with 2 relationships, that is automatically a system of equations. Got to get that in our heads here. So let's go ahead and set up this system, solve it, and let's have a good time. Here we go. So here's the relationship that I'm going to form here for high school A. For high school A, we see that they rented and filled 4 vans, 14 buses, 602 students. So what that tells me, my party people, over here in blue, again for high school A, is that we have, again, 4 vans plus 14 buses equals 602 total students. And if you think about it, my party people, think of it like this. Because you have 4 vans and you have, let's say, V students per van, right over here. V is the number of students per van. Really what that tells me is this, my party people, is that if you want to find the total number of students, you multiply the 4 vans, times the number of students in each van. It's like saying, hey, if I have, let's go ahead and say 5 batches of cookies, and every batch is 12 cookies, so 12 cookies per batch, you multiply those together to get the total. So here, that's exactly what I'll do. With 4 vans, that's going to be 4V, 4 times V. because 4 vans times the number of students in each van, boom, that's going to give you the number of students in all the vans for high school A. Same thing with the 14 buses. We have 14 buses, and that'll end up being 14B. And I'll use the capital B like I had before. 14B because, again, you have B students in each bus. 14 times B, or 14 buses times the number of kids in each bus, gives you the total number of students. And again, this is the total number of students, 602. All the students in the vans for high school A plus the students in the buses gives you the total of 602. We have to be able to set up these equations. And again, if you're unfamiliar with this idea, go back to that video where I go over how to set up equations. And before we continue, my math party people, really quick before we continue, I know that you're enjoying this video and I want to make sure that more people can enjoy these videos just like you. So if you wouldn't mind, just take a quick second, like this video, comment on it, just showing some appreciation, showing what you learned, and then make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that way when we come out with new videos, typically every day, you can be right there on the spot to catch on to them. So help us help others ace the ASVAB. I'm Anderson. Let's keep going here. So there's one equation right there. And likewise, over here, when we set up high school B, we see that we have 11 vans, 7 buses, a total of 364 students. So right over here, we have 11 vans plus 7 buses. That's going to be 364 students. Because again, 11 vans, V students in each van. Multiply those together to get the van students. Then we have 7 buses, we have 7 buses, B students in each bus. Multiply those together to get the total number of kids in the buses. Then you add the vans and the buses together to get the 364 students. That's high school B. So I really hope that you're seeing this as something that's truly understandable and possible to set up. Because now what we'll do, my party people, we're going to solve this. Let's get to it. So we want to find both. We want the number of students in the vans and the students in the buses. But what I noticed about the answer choices, and I want you to know this when you're doing problems in the test, is that look, the number of vans, or the number of students in each van, 9, 8, 7, and 41. They're all different. And then buses, so the number of students in each bus, 19, 20, 41, and 7. All different choices. So I can actually get away with just solving for either the V or the B. I can find either one, my party people, and I'll have the correct answer because all of the answers are different. It's not like 2 answers have the same number of students in the vans or the buses and I'll have to do the extra work. No, I can just find one and I'm good. So what strategy do I want to use here? I'm checking this out and I'm saying substitution is not an option here. There's no way I can substitute this, but what I could do, I can absolutely eliminate. I can for sure definitely eliminate, and I'm more than happy to do that. So the way that I can eliminate here, my party people, you can do it a couple different ways. Notice that we have 14B over here and 7B right there. One way would be to multiply this entire red equation by 2, or a negative 2, so I can get 14B up top and negative 14B on the bottom, and I can cancel them out. Another way that I can do this is I notice that I can divide 14 by 2 to get 7, and these are all divisible by 2. So I could go either way. You could absolutely go either way. If you divide the top one by a negative 2, what you would see is that you're dealing with smaller numbers, and typically that's a lot easier for people to handle. But if you didn't see that, it's completely okay, because what I'll do is I'll multiply this bottom equation by negative 2. So right over here, I'll multiply this one again, multiply by negative 2. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just copy this top equation, and I'll just move it over. It's still the same. Let me actually move everything a little closer together. Okay, so there's my first equation. And the second equation, I'm going to modify it. Like I said, I'm going to multiply everything by a negative 2. So 11V times negative 2 is negative 22V. Then 7B times negative 2 is negative 14B. Then 364 times negative 2 is going to be negative, and then you do some mental math here. 300 times 2 is 600. 60 times 2 is 120. So I have 720 right now. Then from there, 4 times 2 is 8. So that'll be negative 728. You got to know your mental math. It'll help you out greatly here. Negative 728. So here's what I can do now, my math party people. I'm checking this out, and I'm looking at this. I can add these two equations together. Adding them together, what do we get? when I add them together, what I get is I have 4 minus 22. That's going to give me negative 18V. Then I see over here, positive 14B, negative 14B. Add those together and they eliminate. And then lastly, what we have here is 602 minus 728. And that's going to give me negative 20 what? Looks like it's going to be negative 26. Right over there. Negative 126. All right, great. So now that we're here, what we're going to do to both sides is we're going to go ahead and divide by the negative 18. And notice, we're dividing 126 by 18. Not the most obvious thing in the world, and that's why I mentioned earlier, hey, it might be a good idea for us, if we can, to go ahead and make it with smaller numbers with that top equation. But nonetheless, here we are. And let's go ahead here and divide both sides by that negative 18. And we're good. That cancels out, leaving me with the vans. The number of students in each van equals what? Well, a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. And once you do the math, 126 divided by 18, I believe that's going to be, that's going to be 7, I believe. So let me just double check here. 18 times 7, 8 times 7 is 56. 1 times 7 is 7, carry the 5 is 12, 126. So yep, V equals 7. And again, that is the number of students in each van per van, right there. And so when you look at your answer choices, which one gives you van 7? Right here, B. V is vans, right over here. V is 7, that's vans, and we got 7 for that. And so you don't have to solve anything else here, my party people. You know that if you wanted to get the buses, the number of students in each bus, you would go ahead and plug it back in. But that's not necessary right now because, again, B is the only one where van is 7. Now let's go ahead and get into the second one here, my party people. Let's try this one out right now. I want you to pause the video and I want to see if you can set this up. And I want you to also notice how here, potentially, we have both here, two answers with van being 22. So be careful here. Here we go, my party people. So how many students can a bus carry? How many students can a van carry? So we're looking for, again, the number of students in each bus and in each van. So we'll set it up the same way here. We'll say V would be the number per van, the number of students per van, and B would be the number of students per bus. Okay, here we go. So the senior class at high school A and high school B planned separate trips to the county fair. The senior class at school A filled 5 vans, 7 buses with 229 students. So right there, I'm going to take that into account. High school A, 5 vans, 7 buses, 229 students. So that would mean that the number of total students in vans is 5 times V. And then the total number of students in buses is 7 times B. And the total students from that overall is 229. Now, if we keep looking over here, we see that we have high school B, and we have 8 vans and 13 buses with 406 students. So I'll write that out. 8 vans plus 13 buses equals 406. All right, sounds great. Sounds good. So where can we go from here? We've set it up. We have the 2 equations that we need with the 2 variables, and now it's time to solve. What strategies can we use here, my party people? I'm checking this out, and again, substitution is not an option, right? Substitution is absolutely not going to be an option because when you check this out, there's no way that you can get a V or a B by itself, and I'm not going to go through that extra hassle. So another way to look at this is going to be to do this. Is there a way for us to get the same B or same V? Well, for B's, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, yo, 7 and 13, they don't really have anything in common, and so you're going to have to multiply this top equation by 13, this bottom one by 7, if we want to get the same B's. That's going to be a lot of math to do. If you look at the V's, the same situation happens. There's no really small number that 5 and 8 can fit into, except for 40. So we can multiply the top one by 8 and the bottom one by 5 to get them both to be 40V. We could do that. We could do that. And are we willing to do that? I hope so. Let's go ahead and get that done, because if that's the only way, then no complaining. Go ahead and get it done. So here's what I'll do. And really quick, before we continue, my math party people, I know you're enjoying this, And you can have thousands of problems just like this in our program. In our program, you have 4 main things to help you succeed and more. But mainly in our course, you're going to get access to recorded lessons. You're going to get access to guided practice just like this, worksheets that you can print out and try or keep them online. And lastly, speed drills to raise your confidence. That way, when you take the test, there's no test anxiety. There's no pressure because you've been timed before, you know what to do, and that's the feeling that we want. And all of that's included in our program and more. So take a brief moment, click the link here in this video or in the description to learn about the program, and then reach out to us if you have any questions. Sign up now, let's get going, and let's get back to the problem. I'm going to multiply this top equation. I'm going to multiply this top one by 8, and if I do that, what I'll have is, again, 5v times 8, that's going to be 40v. 7b times 8 will be 56b. And then we have 229 times 8. Oh, that's going to be a little tough, but don't worry. Make sure you do it the correct way and move forward from there. 229 times 8, if you need to go ahead and do it on the side, sure, do your thing. With a little bit of mental math, you'll see that that's 1600 plus 160, so 1760 plus 72. So that'll be 1832. Should be 1832. Let's find out. 9 times 8, 72. 8 times 2, 16, plus the 7, that's going to be 23. 2 times 8 is 16, then carry the 2, 1832. Boom, right there. So again, with a little bit of mental math, you could get that done in your head, or you can just take a quick second to multiply it out. Up next, with this second equation, if I multiply it by 5, I'll get what I want. If I multiply it by 5, I will get what I want. And so I'll multiply by 5. And so 8v times 5 will be 40v. Then we have 13b times 5. Well, 13 times 5 is 65. So we have 65b. And then 406 times 5, what's that going to be? Well, 400 times 5 is 2,000. 6 times 5 is 30. So we end up having 2,030. And there they are. There are 2 equations. Let's go ahead and get to work. The only thing we have to make sure we do now is make sure that we have a negative on one of the 40v's and a positive on the other one. That'll be the easiest way for us to handle this. And if you need to go ahead and do this to see one equation on top of the other, I'm going to do it this way because, my party people, if I multiply the entire equation here by a negative, what I end up having is this. Negative 40v minus 56b equals negative 1,832. What I just did, remember, my party people, this is part of solving systems of equations. You need to make sure that this is something that's not uncomfortable to you, all right? So what I did was I multiplied the entire equation by a negative 1. That's all I did. That is all I did. So with that said, let's add these together and let's have a good day. 40v minus 40v, those cancel out. 65 minus 56, that's going to be 9b. And then over here, we have ourselves 2,030 minus 1,832. With a little bit of mental math, what we will find out is that 32 to 1,900 is 68. 68, 168, add the 30, 198. All righty. So with that said, we have 9b equals 198. And again, you need to use your mental math here, your skills to really get that done. And so what we have left to do, my party people, is divide both sides by 9, and we are good. How many times does 9 go into 198? It's going to be 22. But to prove it, here we go. 198. 9 goes into 1, 0. 9 goes into 19 twice. That's going to be 1, 8. 9 goes into 18 twice. And so 22. B equals 22. And remember, that is the number of students in each bus. That is the number of students in each bus. And that is only one answer here. That is B, that has the number of students in each bus as 22. And there we go. I know that the solving process seems a little daunting, but we've been used to solving systems. These are just systems with bigger numbers, but they're still, yet again, just systems. Now the setup is the most important part. So I really hope that this type of question really kind of opens your eyes to how to set these up, because what we're going to do up next is we're going to go over another type of problem in the next video, and then another one after that. And if there are any more challenge problems to include, I will include them in the course. That way you can get exposed to all those types of problems that you can see. But at the end of the day, remember, go through these guided practice videos, make sure to go through the lesson already if you haven't, but then from there, go through the worksheet problems and then the drill set activity. That way you can build that confidence, try out these problems, and if you can get a perfect 10 out of 10 on the speed drills, then you are set forever. With that said, my math party people, Anderson, your math coach, let's go ahead and get moving forward, make progress, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's get it done. My party people, as always, thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way you can see all the updates that we come out with so you can keep improving. So don't wait, subscribe now, and then while you wait for the next video, look here or there to see a related video that's gonna help you improve even more. Let's keep raising that score, and let's get the job we want. I'll see you soon.